Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet. Welcome back to another Starcraft 2 Daily Masters cast. We got another one out of the IEM Season 8 Singapore, I think it is, or Season 7, one or the other. It's a very awesome game out of a very awesome tournament, and it's a bunch of players which we haven't actually cast before again. So check it out. Lots of new players here. So let's go ahead and introduce them. First off, down the bottom left side of the map, it is going to be Mr. Oz. He is 24 years old, from South Korea, plays for Planet Key Dynamics. He used to play for Evil Geniuses, which is why his name is EG Oz. But yeah, and seems to be playing for Planet Key Dynamics now, which is pretty awesome. And yes, he's playing Protoss, so good stuff there. And Mr. EffOrt up the top right side of the map, 23 years old, from South Korea, plays for the CJ Entis team, and looks like it's going to be an awesome game. I haven't heard of these players before. I think I may have heard of EffOrt, maybe, but they're both from very, very good teams, so it should be awesome to be watching them playing. And you will actually notice something. I actually got a comment on my channel. It was just like literally 5 minutes at the point of me casting this game, but it was a few days ago for you guys, from Mr. Chris Ruther, who I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but I think I am. And he told me that I should switch off the life bars, or not switch them off, but only show them when something is damaged. So I did that, and yeah, we'll see how that works as well. And there's also an option. I will just pause it real quick so you can check out this option, because I've forgotten where it is. There's also the flyer help, which I'm thinking of turning off. So you know how when a muses are flying around, you see that little marker underneath it? I might turn that off, but I don't know about it yet. So anyway, so you can see the life bars aren't displayed at all unless they're actually damaged. So we'll see exactly how that works out. And yes, I thought about it, and then I thought, yeah, it's probably a good idea. I'll give it a try. And then what happens was I went back to my stockpile of videos, or so just a bunch of videos from a Husky on the internet. Husky Starcraft, of course, you will know if you watch Starcraft. And I looked at one of his videos, and he's been doing that for years. So I'm like, instantly, if Husky's doing it, it must be a good idea. So there we go. And early aggression from Mr. EffOrt. Going to be getting in there, going to be annoying for quite some time, because the Lings, even without speed, so much faster than the Zealots, and now that speed is out, it's going to take a miracle for these guys to be going down. Mothership Core should definitely help. They're coming around all the way over there. This Zealot's trying to help, but he can't get past the main Zealot. Oh, the pylon is going down. This is bad news right here, this pylon, because that's the only gateway he has right there. And there we go. The pylon goes down. The gateway cannot build anything anymore. I think that Zealot managed to get out and actually managed to die over there. The other one goes down. EffOrt sparing no expense in getting the Lings out there, and we're certainly seeing a lot of damaged units right there. Pro manages to build 2 pylons. The Mothership Core trying to clean up. How much energy do you need for the overcharge? Still 100, so that's quite a ways off. I don't think this Nexus is going to be alive by the time it gets to overcharge, which is a pity, because overcharge may have been able to turn the tide. A single Zealot has managed to get out of here. He's blocking the exit right here. The Mothership Core doing a pretty good job. So many Lings are dying, but the rest of them just keep on pushing through. The Zealot just about to die. The pylon just about to die. It does go down. The other one is actually cancelled at the last second. You assume that one was going to go down, but there he goes. Nothing left. He's just barely holding on. The Mothership Core with 14 kills, managing to hold up a phenomenal amount of Lings right here. And let's have a look at the 30 Lings have died so far. That is absolutely phenomenal. But they killed a lot of stuff. They killed this expansion. They killed this whole row of buildings. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And now EffOrt finally seeing that he cannot break this barrier right here. Is going to be pulling back. They're actually going in for another look. There is a sentry here, and the sentry is going to have to put a force field down there. There it goes. It's a good thing you put the force field at the right location. You put it a little bit too far back, it actually pushes the sentry out in front, and that would be a very, very quick death. So another pylon going down, and the Lings are just going to be duking out around here, not really doing a whole lot, but Mothership Core will be chasing them down forever and ever and ever. And meanwhile, EffOrt's going to switch into full macro mode. He's up to 35 over 29, so Oz not really losing a lot of workers right here. doing a pretty good job keeping his workers alive, but his macro is going to be down in the long term as EffOrt switches very easily into a whole bunch of options. So he's got a third base, he's got a roach warren, he's got 10 more lings. He's looking pretty good at this point. The lings coming back in, but 4 sentries are going to roast them. Putting up a force field just over there, make sure that the lings do not get a scout off, which is the only thing this ling can really do right now. But there's so many overlords in Oz's base, it doesn't really matter. He's going to get a scout off regardless. And the question is, are those overlords going to see this Stargate right here? Because that's something that EffOrt is going to have to worry about. If he gets an Oracle out, if he moves it in there, then EffOrt is going to be in a little bit of trouble right now. He can lose quite a lot of workers to a single Oracle. He's not really built to defend against that. And here we go, the sentries coming out, but they're way out in the middle of the map. I'm not sure about this. They've managed to trap themselves inside a wall of force fields, and EffOrt not paying attention. The lings are just dying for no apparent reason right there. But finally warping them back to the base over there. And yes, it's interesting that Oz thought that was thought that moving out this soon was a good idea, but he obviously thought it was and ended up having to warp back because of that. And now his base is under attack, so not good. This pylon probably going to go down again. The gateway is going to be unpowered. All the lings actually not finishing off that pylon, going for the worker instead. And now they're all over the place trying to remain hidden as long as they can. The first Oracle, no, this is the second Oracle. The first Oracle's already out. Let's keep an eye on how many kills it gets. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, getting a ton of kills. The Queen finally going to work, but it's going to take a lot of damage to actually kill that Oracle. And meanwhile, workers are continuing to die. One more worker left. There's 10 workers down. So that's quite an awesome amount of effort. Bringing effort down from 52 workers down to only 42. And another one of those is going to be devastating, but the spores are coming out now. There's one spore, and the main and the natural have spores down, so that's going to be quite a good way of getting rid of those pesky oracles. So here we go. And now the roach numbers are coming in, and Oz has managed to build up a bunch of stalkers, and with a bunch of sentries, done a beautiful job trapping them back here. The pylon is going to go down, but roaches are getting killed slowly but surely. He does need to get out a few more stalkers, but the sentries are doing a fairly good amount of damage just by themselves. And the Mothership Core, with its 26 kills, is doing a very good job of contributing as well. Here we go. The Oracle coming in. Should be able to kill some gas mining workers without too much worry right here. And there we go. A couple of workers going down, bringing the total up to 12. And it's going to get out there with not much health left over. Meanwhile, this Oracle, where's my other Oracle over there? It's got only 2, so didn't really get to do too much, but yeah, still pretty good. And what have we got going on for EffOrt in the long term? He does have a Hydralisk Den. He is getting some Hydralisk upgrades. I think that's the range upgrade he's getting at the moment. And yeah, looks like they're doing a, looks like somebody DC'd and they recovered it. I love the way that function works, because I'm watching the replay and I don't even notice it. So beautiful, beautiful stuff. And here they go, moving on in. Our Oz is actually thinking about moving out, doing some damage. I'm not sure if this is the best idea, because a lot of roaches is going to start to come out very, very soon. And Oz is, I don't think he's got enough to handle him. He's doing a fair amount of damage though, and warping out right there was a great idea, but he didn't really do the damage that he necessarily wanted to in that battle. If I zoom out, oh, it's because I hit Alt, it turns off the, so I hit Alt Z to zoom out, and that's why the bloody health bars keep moving all over the place. So yeah, great job for both players so far. I mean, EffOrt going for a lot of roaches, and Oz managing to hold them off so far is pretty good. Finally getting a robo facility, definitely a couple of immortals at this point in the game would not be a bad idea at all. I mean, he's already got a ton of stalkers and he's starting to really get into it, but EffOrt, of course, starting to pump out the Hydras, so he's just one step ahead of where Oz is going. And while the Immortal is good, once Oz realizes that Hydras are out on the map, he may be thinking about doing something else. Here we go, the worker's instantly going to be running away, and the Oracle going around to the other side. Any sort of gas disruption is always going to be good, because gas is so critical for going Hydras. And there we go, he's seen the Hydras did attack him, and well, there's the Hydralisk Den, so instantly he knows that Hydras are there, and he's got to think of the counter. So that's probably going to be, at this stage of the game, I don't know, could be High Templar with Storms, could be Colossus, could be a bunch of different options, but regardless, he's going to have to think of something, because sending a mass Stalker army against an army with a decent amount of Hydras in it is not going to go well for Mr. Oz, so he's got to think of something. Here's a nice, easy attack he can do right there. Well, there are quite a lot of Hydras, though, so he's got to be a little bit careful. He's put some force fields down, with the Hydras still squeezing through, and the Roaches are at the front, so he can do a lot of Roach damage, but this amount of Hydras, I think it's just going to be too much. Oz is going to have to back off here. I don't think he can hold against this many Hydras. And the force fields, there's so many gaps in them. Time Warp is kind of good, but in the end, so many Hydras coming out. And the Lings just being a pain in the ass as well. Lings are so good at just whittling down Stalker numbers. You can see the Stalkers really getting owned there by those relatively cheap units. Here we go, warping in a ton more Stalkers, but Stalkers are not what he needs at the moment. Mass Stalker army is going to get shredded by this army from EffOrt. This mainly Ling Hydra army with a bunch of Roaches in it is going to get shredded. He needs Colossus, he needs High Templar, maybe a crap load of Zealots with legs, but even then I think the Hydras would probably own them. So Hydras would help. Zealots would help. They'd be better than Stalkers anyway, better option than Stalkers, but really you need those high-tech units to deal with a large amount of Hydras. So, not seeing that yet, and I do not know. I don't know what his plan is against the Hydras, but what he's currently doing is not going to be that good. It's not going to be that effective. I mean, all he's doing is building Stalkers, and you cannot beat Hydras with Stalkers. Unless you've got a heavy upgrade advantage, but we can see that he doesn't. It's 1-1, and EffOrt is on the verge of getting level 2 weapons. So, actually got a nice engagement coming up over there. Stalkers moving out, instantly getting hit by the Lings, by the Roaches. They can do pretty good against the Roaches if they can get the Lings down, but the Hydras are right behind, and Stalkers getting blown up everywhere. So many Stalkers being lost. Oz just taking the complete wrong approach to dealing with all of these Hydras, and I think he is going to pay for it right there. He's got a nice concave over here, and he does have a very, very decent amount of Stalkers, so maybe he can pull something out here. Looks like he might have the numbers. He's linked right into the middle of the Hydra army. Managed to hold it off there, but I think it was more a numbers game and a positional advantage rather than being a counter, because those Hydras and those Lings really, really just chewed into him. And instantly EffOrt building up another massive, massive army. We can see income-wise 71 over 45 with this 4th base out here, and army-wise 81 over 41. So EffOrt is not down by any stretch of the imagination. He did lose a battle back then, but I think he's going to come out ahead very, very easily right here. Now EffOrt is making a move into more Roaches. I was about to say that may not be a good idea against Stalkers. You'd want to keep with a majority of Hydras, but since Oz just gave the GG, I would say it's kind of a moot point at this part of the game. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I gotta say, turning off the health bars doesn't seem to diminish the game, and yeah, if it makes the game better, then I'm definitely happy to do that. Apparently, it gives you a bit more visibility over the army, which I can't argue with. Seems like a good idea. So yeah, we might turn this off as well. In fact, I think I'm going to turn that off now. Where's my F10 key? Because we don't really need that. Yeah, see? Yeah, I don't know. If I was playing a lot of Starcraft, I'd probably leave that on. But actually, you know what? I'm gonna turn it on because it's not really that major. And I like to see where they're hovered over. Just a little bit of a visual indicator. But anyway, there we go. So that has been this game, and this game was awesome. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys tomorrow for another one. So stay tuned for that. This has been Hairy Muppet, and I hope you enjoyed this game.